Well, hey y'all, it's TracyMac. Listen, I don't know about you, but I have had a very trying week. But thank the Lord, here we sit, and I'm still good. I'm still good. I mean, I started the week out extremely exhausted, not only physically but mentally, emotionally, because of so many things happening. And when you're an empath, you can feel so much. But I was hoping to end the week on doing an interview with someone who, oh my God, would have been probably one of the biggest interviews that people would consider a big interview. I think all my interviews and co-hosts have been big in my eyes, but I think the public would have really considered this a big interview. So when I got the agreement for it, I was off, man, I was off the chain. And so we just wrapped up the interview, and I know I make it easy for people to be with me and easy for them to talk. So this person was so candid, and I know that what they had to share was going to be helpful to so many. But because I don't know if it's my listening skills, my compassion, or whatever, I'm one of those kind of people that said, I never told anybody this before, and they continue to speak. I'm one of those kind of people that people walk up to in the grocery store, and you may carry on a conversation for a couple minutes, and they just start spilling the tea about their lives, their children, whatever. I could be in the locker room at the gym, and Lord knows I've heard some stories, and I'm like, okay, but just creating the space for people to be themselves. I feel like I'm a type of person people are safe with. So I come after the interview, the person asked me not to share it. I was so disappointed because I know that all that they had to say and how candid they were with what they had to say would free so many people. But I'm going to respect them as I do with anything when it comes to people's privacy. Um, I do that well, and I'm not going to share it. But I did ask them, can I talk about them without naming their name and anything that would give away who they are. And a lot of times I allow myself to be vulnerable because, as Latanya Jr., who was also a past podcast guest, helped me see, I saw already that vulnerability was a strength, but she taught me then that vulnerability is a strategy. And so I'll be vulnerable because you also get to create the narrative when you share your story um, honestly and genuinely. You get to create the narrative, and you get to set the tone. And so I will share and make myself vulnerable to people so they will feel like they can. And so that's what occurred in this interview, and they feel like they became too vulnerable. And I was sharing in the interview with them. We were talking about so many different things that I'm really dealing with. I'm having to revisit emotions that I dealt with way back in 2009 when I first came into the knowledge of the gospel of inclusion, as well as the book written by Bishop Carlton D. Pearson, who has passed on. And I read the book then, and I was ostracized and criticized and talked about so bad. And I don't think I was even on social media like I am now, or like I had been in times past. So there was a lot. It was a lot. And I kind of just settled within myself. I'm going to believe what I believe. And whether people are with me or not, I'm going to stand firm in what I believe. And the gospel of inclusion just sat well with everything I have ever believed and stood for. And I tried to share the book with people who literally threw it back at me and in my face. And so after all of that, what I felt like was turmoil just for me wanting to love people and believing that God loves everybody. I just kind of made up in my mind, forget trying to convince people. Just forget it. I'm just going to live that life. I'm going to live that life and be inclusive and whatever. And so this person and I were really sharing, walking down that line. And I was sharing with them how my family, before 1983, we were members in just about every mainstream denomination. Because of my dad's Marine Corps career, we moved from base to base, not far in distance, but several times. In North Carolina and Virginia, we'd moved several times, and every time we'd move, we would be a part of the local church that my dad felt led to go to, or either what was closest to proximity of our house or the base. So we were members of Baptist, Missionary Baptist, AME Zion, Church of God in Christ, Pentecostal, Holiness, you name it. And so we had to groove with whatever, not only the doctrine, but whatever that church believed you should do. And a lot of the weight and the laws fell on women. You had to either cover your hair with a doily, or especially my mom, weight fell on her. And I remember one time my dad, being upset, telling my mom that the pastor said she could no longer wear her toes out, her heels out, and she had to take off her nail polish and no more lipstick. And I couldn't really get what all that had to do with anything. And so as a kid, it didn't really affect me. I remember us wearing long jean skirts to the beach. Yeah, hot long jean skirts where you kind of tied up on the side and you waded in the water because you couldn't. I had a bathing suit underneath, but I had just crossed into adolescence where things began to pop out and change. And so the little kids could wear bathing suits. The little girls had to have t-shirts covering their bathing suits, but the women and the teenage girls, we had to wear long jean skirts to go to this particular event. And I never understood why. And like I said, a lot of the legalism rested on the women. So this person and I were sharing about that. And I remember the story. A lot of times when you get to thinking you have to use man-made rules to please God, you end up trying to please people. So you innately become a people pleaser. Because the rules change. This church, you could do this, but you couldn't do this. You couldn't do this. So you end up trying to please people. And I spent majority of my life trying to please people. Period. For nothing else, for the sake of peace. Just so you can leave me the hell alone. What you need me to do? Okay, I'll do it. And I didn't have a lot of boundaries. And then because of the fact we learned the acrostic Jesus, others, and you was the word joy. So you put Jesus first, others, then you. But there wasn't a clear delineation of the line between the pastor and the leadership and Jesus. It was like, because they said it, you just automatically thought that was Jesus talking. So you just went along with it. And so in trying to be pleasing, I have always been a person to dress very modestly. Never been the type to wear shorts or whatever, and I ain't got no problem with it. I'm telling you, if I had the legs for it, I'd probably be walking around in drawers. I don't know. But anyway, never really been the type of person to wear a lot of, show a lot of skin or whatever. But I admire people who do it, honey. If you can work it, wear it. And even then, when we were in legalism, I didn't see a problem with anybody else doing it. I couldn't understand why it was so legalistic for us. And so even, as I've gotten, older and whatever, people say, you always got on something long. Somebody used to say, I'm tired of you wearing them Pentecostal dresses. I love a good maxi dress. And I also, as many of you know, I have deal with a skin condition, not only rosacea and something called PMLE, which is like an allergy to the sun. So I stay covered most of the time. And so I just remembered somebody saying my dresses were too long. Then I brought them up, just below the knee. But then when you got hips, when you sit down, if you wear something just below the knee, it's going to come above the knee. So I walked in church, and here they come throwing a lap cloth. And I'm like, you throwing a lap cloth on me? Sure. As big as my thighs are, they only going to see knees. They only going to see knees. And if these jokers going to get off on knees, who got the problem? So anyway, I was just sharing with this person, and they were just so, Lord, I hope they changed their mind. But if not, some kind of way, even if the hour and change we spent together was just for them to deliver their soul in ways that they hadn't before, because they kept saying, I've never told anybody this before. And the podcast was supposed to be about a totally different subject. But as we just began to talk, things began to come out. And all that, I really, it's really hard for me right now in life, because there's so much I want to say and do and be, but I know that sometimes as a woman, as a black woman, as a short black woman, as a short black woman who lives in what some people would call the South, somebody who's kind of even-tempered. I don't make no waves, Some people just want you to be seen and not heard, And it's hard because there's so much compassion I have for people to just learn to love. And, as long as I've been teaching, and even the years where I didn't tell anybody that I was pastor, people knew I was clergy, people knew my upbringing, and they want you to cook for them. They want you to sing for them and with them. They want you to watch their kids. They want you to teach a class. They'll invite you to their family life centers. They'll invite you to their um, boardrooms. I'm invited into boardrooms, offices, homes. I've even been invited to bedrooms. I don't blame them. I ain't go. But people invite you to anywhere but their pulpits. And I don't know what is so threatening about who I am. I don't know if it's how I look. I don't know if it's the piercing I have that's so obvious on my face. I don't know if people are scared what I'm going to say. Maybe they should be. But when you have a heart for people to just open up and listen and lean into love, I'm at a point in my life, if it ain't love, I don't want to be bothered with it. And I know I'm not perfect. And this person and I were sharing our imperfections. I know I'm not perfect. I know I didn't piss some people off. I know everybody ain't going to like you or love you. I know that now. I didn't know it back in the day when I was a people pleaser, because I would bend over backwards. And as my grandma would say, forwards. That means forward. To try to make people happy. And it's been a while since I did that thing. But there's still an element of service that I do like, for people to feel comfortable in the space with me. I'm not a chameleon as far as just changing, but there is a wisdom I have in becoming all things to all men, because I understand, I get it, what you need. And if it's in my capacity to be a dude, I'm going to try to be it. Not to please you, but to please the God in me, because the God in me sees the God in you. I don't care who you are. And so I'm really disappointed that I can't share that interview with you. And I want to make sure it's not because of my ego. I don't want to be like, I interviewed such and such. And so it's a lesson in it for me. Was it just for me to hear and for me to share this with you? And this person has a lot to lose. They feel, I don't feel like they have a lot to lose, but they feel like they have a lot to lose if people knew these aspects of their truth. And I don't know if it's age, because they are near my age, and I would think some of us, because I'll be 55 February 27th. I don't know if it's because of the hell and high water I've gone through. I don't know if it's because of what I've seen behind closed doors, church doors, corporate boardroom doors of people's houses. I've seen a whole lot. Some things I should have never seen in my young 55 years. Heard a lot of conversations. Sometimes I feel like our enslaved ancestor women used to feel when they would be serving around the tables, and because people, they let them blend into the walls, they didn't even see them. They didn't know that they were there watching the whole time, listening and learning. As a child, y'all just don't know, especially as a BK and a PK. Oh, Lord. And then, look, you messed around and let me babysit your children. So children talk. Children say a whole lot of things. You say a lot of things. And I'm in your house. You hear a lot of things. You hear a lot of things in the back room before the preachers come out during the service. What I think they should have been out there in praise and worship, and they back there talking. How many you running, Doc? Among other things. I've been invited to places when people knew of me being a clergy, elder, teacher, pastor, chaplain, and they invited Owen and I, and they put me in the room with the other pastors' wives. And what you don't, or put me in the room with the choir members. And you put me in a room with people that talk. And I'm listening. And you'll never hear your business. But to have the knowledge that I have about people, you just learn to put nobody on a pedestal. You just learn to listen to people. And it's not my business to tell anybody else's business. And so, just talking to this person, and like I said, I'm checking my ego right now, because I think my ego was involved, because I wanted y'all to see who I'm interviewing, And as I think about it, because I'm fresh out of the interview, as I sit here and think about it more and more, I think maybe this is a lesson for me, to remain that no matter who I talk to, they are important. No matter who I talk to, their lives matter. Um, and knowing that maybe it was just them delivering their soul and their truth to me may make them more readily to talk about it with maybe someone else, and then maybe someone else. And I told them, they have my word, I not only will not share the interview, but I will delete it. Because I don't want it to be something that I'm tempted or something that somebody else finds, because it's not my business to tell their business. And I also just want to encourage anybody, find somebody you can talk to. Pay them if you have to. Whether it be clergy, whether it be a counselor, spiritual director, therapist, and not just from a mental health perspective, but just for your mind care. I have a class called Mind Manicure that I'm looking at doing again in 2024, because you have to manicure your mind. And just like you go somewhere to get your hands, I just got my pedicure the other day. You take care of those. There's trim, filing. Sometimes you need an overlay, painting, coloring, soaking. If we do that for our fingers and our toes, what about this mind? And I'm only pointing to the head because that's what we assume, that's what we refer, the mind is up here, but the mind is everywhere. And so I'm just coming to you very vulnerably. I mean, I do this podcast because I love having conversations with people. I love black women. I love black women not only because I am one, because I see us. I see the beauty in who we are that other people overlook, that other people, that we just blend in. I know that black women have served the world in capacities that no one else has. And we're the most disenfranchised, the least recognized, the most overlooked. And when it comes to these things about religion and everything with human sexuality, you know, a lot of times as black women, and I know that when I've had people who want me to talk to them about these things or just listen to them about these things, you know, sometimes somebody will ask me to call their child. You know, I don't know what that feels like at this time, and my child is heterosexual. So I don't know what it feels like when a parent has put their child out of the home or no longer speaks to them, but then that parent will call me and ask me to check on them. You know, and I don't know what it feels like. I have no idea, and I don't ever want to know what it feels like. I like to believe that no matter what my child does, she can always come and talk to me about it. Always have an open door. So, you know, people get caught up in a lot of things that is just so unnecessary. Can we just lean into love? I don't see why it's hard. We're making it so much hard. Can we just lean into love? Because when it comes down to it, I really don't give a flying flip. Yeah, I see it. But are you hungry? You want something to eat? You need your clothes washed? May not be the one to do it, but I'm caring about the day to day of that person. Go get your hair done, Suge. Have you had anybody to talk to? It's the simple things. I ask the question, do we have room for compassion? This person can't even, and mind you, what they were sharing to me, let me get my words together so I don't divulge. To me, what they're sharing is not that explosive. It's just that it's what they're sharing. It's them. Some of these things, and I tried to convince them, it really isn't a big deal. More people are with you than not. and more people feel the way you do than not. But because society suppresses us, I know as black women, a lot of times we can't come even in the pulpit because it's rejected us. So we have found other ways, whether it be through consulting, whether it be through coaching, whether it be through anything, social work, because they didn't let us speak in the pulpit. We have had to camouflage our gift of compassion in so many different ways. Y'all, we got to be easier with one another. We have to have the passion, the bold enthusiasm. When we think about the Latin word where passion comes from, to suffer, the passion of the Christ, to suffer temporarily for the greater good. We suffer for the greater good of other people. Can we have the passion to have the compassion? Can we suffer just a minute for the greater good, to just love somebody? My dad used to say that almost after every message or after the benediction at church. Love somebody. And it wasn't just words. Love is action. Can we just love somebody where they are, for who they are? And that's kind of what's been exhausting for me spiritually, because I'm seeing that it's not. People can't, because of their beliefs, their position, their societal, their political views. Can we just woosah? And for the most part, black women have always been the woosah tribe. We can always get past it because we know what it's like to be hated. We know what it's like that for somebody, just the skin. You scared of the skin, and then the power we possess. I think we got a, I don't know. I think we got a way with God that don't nobody have. Cause baby, let me tell you, you get a black woman on your side, you got a comrade for life. Lord, you make her an enemy, you're going to be facing hell. I don't know, and I know I'm kind of rambling because I'm feeling so many things. I feel compassion for this person because they can't share their truth. I feel like my ego needed to be tempered because of maybe some of the ways I was looking at sharing this interview. But I just also feel like a wake-up call. Can we look ourselves, even in the mirror, at ourselves and say, thank you for letting me be myself? Can we look at other people that we feel like we're close to and say, thank you. Thank you for letting me be myself. I don't have a dog in a fight. When it comes to equality, when it comes to the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, yeah, I got a dog in that fight. I'm a black woman. When it comes to homosexuality, and queer and lesbianism, I'm not. When it comes to different faiths, I embrace them all. So I sometimes I wonder, God, why do I have this passion to talk about it? I mean, when it comes to the church, I'm flawed and I've done some wrong things in my life, but I'd like to consider myself a church girl. I'm a darling of the church. I could run with a clean political record for office, but they still gonna find something. I ain't done nobody wrong. When the church doors were open, I unlocked them. When the church toilets need to be cleaned, I scrubbed them. The floors, when guest ministry came in, I was cooking, serving. If they had a book table, I set up the book table. When you need to count the money after church, you could trust me. When you need the songs to sing, I was teaching them and singing them. When you need somebody to lead praise and worship, I'm there. When you need somebody to give outside, beyond tithes and offerings, alms and teruma, I'm there. And they still want to put me in hell. How you going? What can I do? And I know I'm not perfect. You want to put me in hell because I have wine. Want to put me in hell for cuss words? Go on Amazon, go on Netflix and look at the movie. It's a special. It's a documentary, I think, by Nicolas Cage, called The Origin of Cuss Words. I may not have the name right, but look up cuss words on Netflix. Who sat in a room and told y'all them 7 words were bad? The same folks that invented a lot of this other doctrine on their own terms. The same folks. You gonna condemn somebody more so with the spirit of the words you speak more so than the words. I mean, come on now. But people want to put me in hell because some people don't believe women belong in the pulpit. Then if you do confess with your mouth and believe with your heart that God has raised Jesus from the dead, which in the Christian Bible is the way to salvation, lo and behold, you do something, they're going to say you backslid. That means you ain't saved no more? I was just listening to D.E. Polk, a wonderful person and friend of mine that I'm looking forward to being with soon, last night. And the question was asked, why do people need hell so much? And it's like they want to put me in hell. Then they say I'm usurping authority over my husband because Owen is not the clergy. I am. Oh my God. Oh my God. Really? And so it's like you can't please people. So just stop. Just stop pleasing people. And I heard Cheryl Lee Ralph say on a recent Oprah interview, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how much you love yourself, and I promise you, you will begin to see the God in you rise up for you to have love and compassion for other people. Because what the world needs now, Dionne Warwick, is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. And a lot of times the people that are so mean and hateful need it the most. They need love the most. But it's hard to come to their rescue when they're so calloused. So sometimes you get a point of entry, because a lot of times it takes trauma and tragedy and some people to get a point of entry. But then they reject you because of what you look like. They reject you because of what you believe. They reject you because of who you love. Some people reject me because of who I love, but they want me to love them and their imperfections or in their things society don't. I'm going to tell you this. I know somebody who's mad with me right now because of my all-embracing mindset, my inclusive mindset. Mad, don't want to talk to me, and told me I'm going to hell to my face over the phone and in text. But they done been divorced. They got some side chick situations. They got a child out of wedlock. And even though I don't see a problem with it. If everybody who had sex out of wedlock got pregnant, then all us going to hell. They did it, but they can't. Even if you believe other people wrong, can you overlook it and love them? And I know I've said a lot. And I know I have more to say. Because people want you to show up with the baked good. People want you to show up and support them. People want you to show up and smile. And God knows I love to joke and have fun. I think I could have been a comedian. But when you want to speak the truth, they don't want to. Especially when you want to speak truth to power. Oh, be quiet. They don't want to hear from a woman. It's a new day. It's been a long time coming. But I know a change is going to come, because a change is here. And as I've said and said to my Peace Place group, and I think I even said it on video, we want a move of God, but the move of God is you. The move of God is you. We got to love somebody. Who sang the song? Have you ever loved somebody? Have you ever loved somebody? When somebody loves you. Who was it, Freddie Jackson? Somebody gonna say I'm going to hell because I listen to R&B music. I listen to all kind of music. They gonna try to put you in hell for something. I think the most people, more the people that try to put you in hell, are living in one. And I thank God for who God has shown me to be to me. I thank God for the Christ consciousness that I walked in an early age. I even thank God for the tea parties me and God used to have on the back porch when I was 5 years old. Me and God never stopped having them tea parties. I just ain't got that broke down table no more with one chair I used to let God sit in. But I thank God for the mind to hear. I thank God for the ability to change. I thank God for the ability to evolve. I thank God for the ability to be a great listener, an active listener, to hold the space for people. But I thank God, hopefully, that people will begin to hold the space for me. If you no longer love or like me because of me loving and liking people you don't like and love, I'm just grateful for the time we had together. And I'm looking forward to not just being the one to cook and serve or take a secret meeting with you because you're scared to be with me out loud or can't talk to nobody else about your thing. Whatever your thing is, I can still be that to some degree. But I think there's another space and a place for me. And I've always been honest and authentic and vocal. But I also let my I also used to dim my own light for the sake of protecting those around me, for the sake of not upsetting their apple carts or whatever. So I'm still going to be me, and I hope and pray that the person who I wanted to share y'all with, or share them with you, I just pray that if nothing else, our conversation, that they are better off just because of it, and that in the long run, that they'll be okay, and that you will be okay, because life is too short and too long for the petty, for the man-made rules. And like I said, I think at the beginning, I'm having to revisit a lot of emotion that I kind of had already walked through, and just sharing about the gospel of inclusion. But I'm willing. I can handle it. I just thought I was going to be able to get by the rest of my life by being inclusive, but I see a lot of people need to have the conversation, or at least be heard, or at least hear somebody. And if it's me, if it's me, oh Lord, I'm not only standing in the need of prayer, but I'm ready and I'm willing and able to be whatever God needs me to be, in God, with God, through God, as God, all of it. Because I don't hurt people. I don't hurt nobody. And and I think I'm strengthened by the hurt I've endured. I said earlier, a lot of times I just have to cry because I used to carry people's pain. And I've learned ways to detach and let people bear their own pain, but yet I can be touched with the feelings of the infirmities. But I've learned how to be touched with the feelings of others' infirmities without getting sick. And I thank God for that too. And I'm just grateful. I don't even know what to call this, but I know that I can't share what they shared, but I can share myself. And I hope that this blesses or encourages somebody in some way. I don't even know how to move forward in some spaces, because I feel like my light, my beacon is stronger, and me dimming my light no longer is an option. And if nothing else, to speak out for those who can't. And like I said, if people gonna put this church girl in hell, don't nobody have a chance. I ain't perfect, but dang. Dang, man. You know, it's like, wow. If y'all gonna dog me out, golly. What y'all doing to other people? Because even when I have done wrong, God knows I know everybody ain't gonna like me. I know everybody ain't gonna love me. But even when I've done wrong, if you go back and ask people what I have done to them, they can't say I called them out their name. They can't say I dogged them out, I stole from them. You know, I know what I'm guilty of is being selfish. God knows I can be a selfish somebody because I give so much. Even with my imperfections, I've given so much that every now and then I just got to be completely selfish. And I still can't apologize for that until I figure out how to survive and thrive. Because a lot of times I'm selfish with things people can't give me. So I have to give them to myself. And I can't move. I don't know when those things happen. I just go missing. You know, I just go on a deployment, and I apologize for when that's offensive, but I can't apologize for doing it. So, you know, if people say I wronged them and I went ghost on them, believe them. But I still love them. But they can't say too much else. And I can't promise that I won't go ghost again because of what I deal with. And this is being very vulnerable. So, I don't know. But yet I do know. But I thank God for where I am now. I thank God for you. If you've lasted this long to listen to this black woman on this Black Woman's World podcast, and you're a SistaNista or SistaNista lover, or maybe you're a part of my Peace Place group, which is a virtual group. I don't try to take anybody away from their church or their belief. It's just a community where we enhance your beliefs and allow people to be themselves. And that's all I know to do. And again, if nothing else, maybe I'll title this "Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself." And I'm glad that with me, you feel safe, because with me, you can be yourself. As long as you ain't hurt nobody. As long as you ain't hurt nobody, you know, we can get down. What the song say? It ain't gonna hurt nobody to get on down. Anyway, I'm grateful and I love y'all for real. I'm TracyMac. Much love and peace.